I'm Hemi from the Beyond staff. Today, I think I'll try fitting some seat covers again. Uh, I think last time, we did it with the seats still in the vehicle. This time, I think I'll try fitting them with the seats actually removed from the car. Thus, I'll go over some key points things to watch out for, or, tips on how to fit them, well, neatly and properly. And for this, I'll be using Beyond's most standard type of seat cover, like this. This is what the seat covers look like. And, well, seat covers don't really vary that much between manufacturers. So, I think you can use this as a reference when fitting other brands too. So, I think I'll try fitting them one by one. And probably, the very first thing most of you will do is the headrest, I'd say. And basically, the seat covers, well, like the headrests, they have tags on them like this, like front headrest, and then the bottom. It says front seat base. And for the headrest, there's a front and a back. So, well, just hold it up. And if you use these stitches as a guide, it should be easy to tell the front from the back. Well, looking at it now, if you align this part and, well, this part here, well, you should be able to tell right away, which way it faces. And, well, as for the headrest, you just slip it right over. Just like this. Well, if the front and back are correct, this curve here will line up nicely. So, well, if something seems a bit off, well, just assume you've got the front and back wrong. And, well, once you've shaped it a bit, we'll fasten this belt part first. And, like last time, this part, this fastening bit. This is where it gets a bit tricky. So, this side looks like this, and it goes right into the U-shaped part over here. It's quite difficult here if the headrest is a bit tight, but, well, pulling it slightly, stretching it out a bit, and, well, the idea is to wrap it right around. Well, imagine wrapping it around as it attaches here and here. I'm not sure if the camera can catch it, but it wraps around a bit like this. And then you just tidy up the shape and the stitching positions, and the headrest is done. And next, the backrest. The backrest also has a right and left. So, well, look at the tag I mentioned earlier. And this time this seat, it's the driver's side, so driver's side. And you really just slip this over too. First, open it like this, and from above, and what I'm often asked about is this part here, this part for the headrest, just like this. Sort of slipping it all the way round. If you fit it like that, it goes in. However, if the hole seems a bit too small, then, I think it's better to just take this part off to fit it. And, sorry, just how to remove this. Inside, there's a pin, so you can pop the pin up and pull it out upwards. Well, mostly this time, I'll just slip it in, as is, without taking this off, and, attach it here. And this flap part goes into the gap here. Like this, the flap comes out the bottom. Once the flap is out, now close the zips on both sides here first, and just like this, try to make the zips come together as neatly as possible, and zip it up. If you force it whilst it's too open, it might tear or something. So make sure to bring both sides together like this and pull it down slowly, right down to the bottom. Then just pull the whole thing down slightly, keeping it as taut as possible, and give this flap itself a fairly firm pull too, and secure it. And then this itself gets hidden inside. And with that, the backrest part is done for now. And finally, when the seat base is on, we'll align this stitching as closely as possible with this. So, well, we'll need to unfasten the back again for this final alignment. And next, right, the seat base. The seat base itself. Just match the tags here, like before. And the seat bases are right and left too, but for the base, even if you have the wrong side, surprisingly, it just fits. However, when you finally fit it, you'll notice the size of this side and that side, and wonder if the right and left are wrong. So, always check the tag. And for this itself, you really just slip it over too, but, well, out of the whole seat cover. The seat base is probably the hardest part, and as for why, I'll explain gradually as we tuck it in. First of all anyway, same as here, this final flat part and the front side. Just slip them over, and this part here, we'll push it into the gap here again. We'll come out the back here. So, with the front hooked in place, just give it a good pull towards the back anyway. And we'll secure this part here, right at the very end. And the left side, the inside, there's nowhere for it to tuck into, so it'll just finish up like this. And one more thing, this flap here, into this gap, the idea is to just keep pushing it in, tucking it further and further inside. This side too. The idea is to just push it right inside. And what people mention most is this part here, this plastic bit. Some customers often say this part is hard to tuck in here, or it won't go in properly. So, a trick to get it in properly is, well, you can shift the cover itself slightly towards you, like this, to create a gap, and then tuck it in. And one other way is to push it further and further, in little by little, when you're pushing it in. If anything, shift the whole thing over this way, just a touch, and leave a bit of slack here. Like this. So, with that bit of slack, as you push it in firmly, inside, inside. It will gradually go further and further into this gap. And it's fine to use a spatula, but if the spatula gets into an awkward spot, it could cut this. So be really careful if you're going to push it in with a spatula. Fine. Especially here too, there's no plastic part, so if you push it in with a spatula, you can quite often cut this bit here. So, well, please be very careful when you tuck it in using a spatula. And one more thing, what I was saying earlier is to temporarily take the cover slightly, so if you take the cover off, it leaves quite a big gap, making it much easier to just keep tucking it in there. Then, if you pop the cover back on, it fits in all the way. And then just towards this side a bit, right here, the plastic bit is caught now, so you just shift it towards this side a little to adjust the overall position. Then, once again, give the back a slight, firm pull to adjust the overall position. And with that, we finally secure the bottom strap. And that's it, finished. So, this time, the seat is detached like this, so you can also view it from directly underneath. So, the strap and since we're right underneath now, the position where the strap, well, passes through, and quite a few people end up hooking it like this. If you do that, it won't pull quite right. So ideally, you want it to pass under things like this as much as possible. Well, when it's in the car, it can be a bit hard to see how to thread it, and a bit tricky to get your hands in. But ideally, you want this belt to pass straight through against the bottom of the seat, just like this. Well, there are cords like this too, so, well, with cords, it's probably best to thread it underneath the cord, if possible. I think that works quite well. Keep this belt as close to the bottom surface as possible, and this affects the final finish a bit. Plus, you can pull it quite tight to get a nice taut fit, so if possible, please thread this belt so it sits flush with the bottom. Here too. When it's in the car, this belt can be quite hard to pull, but, well, try to slide your hand in carefully, or also, when threading from the front, inserting a small stick to, carefully drag this belt out is, one way to do it. And, like this, if it sits quite close to the bottom, you can pull it nice and straight, so it's quite easy to get a taut fit. However, if you force it to be taut by yanking it with all your might, like with a man's strength, it will tear right here. So, well, please pull this belt while checking the overall fit. And finally, lining the stitching. Well, for this one, the places to align the stitching are just here and here, 2 spots, so it's not that difficult. Well, whichever is easier. For example, if this side is crooked, just undo one more on the back here and shift it a bit. If this side is straight, but this side seems crooked, just pull this side slightly one way or the other, while, aligning the stitching. And especially, when it comes to the design here, if it has very straight stitching, or if it looks bad, unless the design is perfectly aligned, if you make sure to put real effort into aligning the stitching, it will look absolutely beautiful. So, well, this one is pretty easy. So just align the stitching like this. And finally, the headrest. Attach it, and you're done. Then just check key spots to see if these areas are slightly out of place. If they are, well, just tidy them up at the end and make your adjustments. Also, Check the sides here at the end to make sure they're tucked in nicely. And, well, if you fit these fine details quite securely, then, well, by tidying up these side parts quite nicely, I think you'll achieve a rather beautiful finish. And that's roughly it. We've used the driver's side seat cover to, do the installation. Well, if you pay attention to the key spots, I think the front is quite, simple to do. Well, one point to note is, not to pull too hard with all your might. If you pull too much, it will inevitably tear at the seams. So, well, as long as you're just careful about those things, installing the seat covers, for the front should be quite easy. Well, if you like, please subscribe to the channel, and I'd be glad if you use this video as a reference when fitting seat covers. And next time, we'll do the back. The back is a bit, it has some special parts. So next time I think I'll, explain the rear installation. Thank you for watching.